Hey, good morning, everybody. Dennis here. All right, so ATN has a new firmware update for the X-Sight 5. We have 5.1.09.1021. Finally, after 18 months of owning an X-Sight 5, I received an email advising me that there's a new firmware update. I've had 3 different scopes, registered each one of them, and I finally got an email to let me know. But the way I found out was through the Facebook group. Someone posted about a new firmware update. Now here it is, guys. If you're not in the group, I got the video for you. All right, so like I said, we got the new firmware update 1021. Some cool features, new features, and really important improvements. So let's go through them. Added smart zoom control feature. Added viewable media gallery in scope. I just did the download. The media gallery is pretty cool. Added RAV calibration for each profile. Added update diagnostic codes. To me, that's extremely important because we've all had issues one time or another with the scope. So now, if we get an issue, we should get a code. So when we call tech support, all we got to do is give them a code. Should make life easier to problem solve any issues. All right, so let's check out the improvements here. Improved shot count feature. So I have used my scope on my platform constantly, and I still have a 0 count. So we'll test that out the next time we get out in the field or to the range. Improved RAV feature. I've had issues where it hasn't worked, even after I calibrated it. So we'll get out there and we'll test out the RAV feature now. Retains ballistic mode status if enabled before shutdown. I haven't used the BC, so we'll see if we can test this out. Expanded field ballistic coefficient to 3 numbers. Now I know when I did set up my BC, I could only put in 2 numbers. So this might make the BC more accurate. We'll find out. So reduced LRF measurement time. Now I know when I'm out in the field and I use my rangefinder, it takes a few seconds to calculate. So we'll get this out in the field and we'll test this out to see if it's quicker or not. Improved overall device stability. Now I can tell you this just from going through my menu and going through the options. The scope is a lot more smoother. It's quicker. The responses are much better. Optimization of start device process. You still have the startup boot screen, but it is quicker than it was with the previous firmware. Remove UI artifacts. Well, I'll have to do some research on that. Enhance support with lower speed SD cards. I'm going to tell you right now, with all the filming and videos and editing we do, we always use higher speed SD cards. The quality is better. So make sure you're using the correct SD card for the scope. Remove reversion to base zoom after certain actions. So here it is, the new firmware update 5.1.09.1021. Now if we go over to the ATN website, this is what you're going to want to do. If you're going to, I recommend updating to this new firmware whether you have issues or not. Because if you miss an update and there's a new one that comes out with better features or improves something, your scope is going to have to be sent back into ATN and everything has to be done manually, updated, and factory reset, reboot, whatever you want to call it. I learned the hard way. So I highly recommend doing this update. All right, so let's go. What you're going to do is you're going to log into your account with ATN. You're going to go up here to support. Go to firmware download. Then you're going to come to the bottom of the page. You're going to click what scope you have. And it's going to show you the newest firmware available. You click on X-Sight 5. You're going to come down here. You're going to download it to your PC, Mac, whatever you're using. Now, here's a little trick that Bill just taught me. What he did is he downloaded this file directly into his SD card. In the past, I haven't done this way. I've had issues. I'm going to knock on wood. I have not had an issue since I've downloaded it. Bill did the new firmware update yesterday. His scope is working perfectly. We have not field tested it yet, but in-house, going through the options, it is very smooth. So you want to try and download directly to your SD card. Make sure you format your SD card on your scope prior to downloading the new firmware. Once you format it, put it in your computer. Make sure there are 0 folders on your SD card. If there is, remove them. You want this firmware update directly into your SD card. Now, the way I did it is I downloaded it to the computer, I copied it, and then I put it onto the SD card. Don't drag it. That's the way I used to do it. Don't know if that was the issue, but copy and put it directly into your SD card. Once you do that, go to your SD card, make sure there's 0 folders, just a firmware update. I believe it is .bin. So you'll see these numbers here, 5.1.09.1021.bin. So if that's in your SD card, just there, no folders. Properly remove your SD card from your computer. Put it into your scope. Power your scope on. It's going to go through the system booting up. You get the screen, pops up. To update, click yes, let it go. Now mine kind of froze at 85%, but it powered down, and then maybe a minute later powered back on and was fully updated. Went through all my options, my menu screen. The scope is smooth. We'll keep our fingers crossed here, because you know every time you got to do this, you got to hold your breath to make sure it's going to work. All right, guys. We're going to let you know every time there is an update. We're going to go through the update. So that way everybody is up to date on what's going on with their ATN scope. All right, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.